Are you a girl that likes to come home after a hard day and just have a pour? Have a
Yeah,
good
I
sip?
love a glass of wine at
Yeah.
night. I love it, and never thought that that would be something I would say. It took me a really long time to understand the benefits.
It did?
I don't know why. I
And
think
you're
it was
best buddies
the
with
third.
Andy Cohen, and
I
it
know.
took you that
It
long.
really did. But I think it was the 3 children hitting a certain age where I was like, what are you doing? Why are you not with your body inside a fridge finding a glass of wine or, somewhere?
We know that this is Invivo X,
Yes.
SJP. It's yours. What would Carrie Bradshaw, what would her wine be called if she was creating one?
Would it be called Wonder? Didn't she always say I couldn't help but wonder?
Yeah.
Or it could be called Meanwhile. Meanwhile.
I like
uptown.
Wonder.
Meanwhile, in Tribeca.
And it'd have to be in like typewritten or computer
Yeah, like
font
a
across there.
typewriter font, like an old school typewriter, computer font maybe,
I like that.
circa 2002,
I like that.
whatever
very
that font was.
You mentioned your kids, and I was thinking about this because you do so much. I mean, your shoe line, you have this, and you're a mommy mogul
Fragrances,
in a lot of
yeah.
ways. How important is it for you to show, and especially your girls, like a woman who's really got her hand in everything and doing it well?
I think what's important for them to see, is that I like being a working person. I'm a curious person, and so I think really what I like to share with them is that being curious has rewards, and they don't come immediately. It's an accumulation of curiosity and asking questions and seeking out opportunity. But I think what I want to tell them is that curiosity is the gateway to all sorts of things that you mightn't have ever imagined, and success is not the destination point for me.
Well, what is the destination?
The destination is having experiences, and learning how to be with other people, and what are coping mechanisms in a challenging day, and how do you get to yes, and what do you learn by something that seems scary or forbidding in some way. I think the more we are out in the world, the more we learn about each other, the more we run toward the unknown, the more empathy we build, the more understanding we build, the more interest we have. So I really talk about curiosity being something that I think can pull them through their grown-up life. I think especially now when we're feeling disconnected from one another or afraid of one another, or there's conversations that are sort of making proclamations about people that are different being scary to us. I think it is our job as parents to say the world isn't scary, and the people that are most different are not the people that we should avoid, but rather know better.
Do they ask you more questions, your kids, about the entrepreneurial space or like the creative space?
You know what? They don't ask
Neither.
about either. I think they're asking questions that you'll hear in homes across our country and across
What
the
are
globe,
dogs?
which are more like questions about homework or a conversation in school or a friendship or having to make choices, or choose between, an opportunity in Girl Scouts, and with James Wilkie, it's school and interning and soccer and conversations about university and how to spend time, and where is everybody's stuff that's missing. That's a big conversation in our house. Where's your uniform? Where's your thing? Where's the thing? That's it's perfunctory. It's the conversation would be very familiar.
How do you wrap your brain around the fact that you are having conversations with your son about college and university, that that's happening?
Yeah.
He's getting to that age.
It's hard to imagine, but it's incredible. I mean, he's not there yet, but it's junior year, so that's
coming.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I can't know what that feeling is to say goodbye to a child and hope you've left them with everything they need, like here and here.
This is gonna come in handy.
Yeah, exactly. Pack
This is
some
gonna
in a
come
water bottle.
Very, very handy, I'm telling you. But how cool is it that they also get to see you and Matthew teaming up again on Broadway?
Yeah.
Why was this the right time? Because I guess you guys haven't been on stage together since what, '96? You weren't even
That's
married
right.
yet?
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Yeah. came about in this sort of surprising way. Our friend John Benjamin Hickey, who's a great actor and actually about to open in a play on Broadway, called me a year and a half ago and said, "Listen, I've been asked to curate an evening of some stuff at Symphony Space, and would you do, let's find a play to read. Would Matthew do it?" I was like, "Of course we will." And we, poured over plays, and then we started kind of going through the Neil Simon canon, and we were not surprised to discover how delighted we were to be in the pages, but I think all of us, when we reread Plaza Suite, were just reminded of that particular play's just skill and how freaking funny it was, how funny it is, but also how moving it is. We're excited and nervous, and
Are you?
We're each playing 3 different roles.
Do you still get nervous?
Oh Lord, yes. Oh God, you don't even want to talk to me about it. Yes, of course I do, because I still care. I think if I just was like cavalier, I would love to be that person. It eludes me.
I've always wanted to know, we were just talking about your dress, and I love what you have on today. Please tell me that you are saving some of those iconic red carpet looks for your kids to either hand down or just have, or...
Yeah, I mean, anything that doesn't go back to a designer is in my possession. And I think, often they encourage me to keep it. We always send it back. That's our first, it's like the library, I always say. It's an honor system. You borrow something, you return it in the condition in which, or better condition in which you were loaned it. But people have been generous over the years, and we have a pretty healthy archive.
So you actually have gotten like a package, like in Sex and the City, when she gets the dress and you've opened it up and there's like
well, typically I don't get it. Typically if I wear it and we extend like whatever the conversation is about returning it, often they'll say, keep it. But by the same token, I will say also designers have called and said, can we have that back for either a museum, a retrospective of the designer, or it's going to go on tour, or we just frankly want it back for our own archives, in which case you always say yes. But that doesn't deplete a pretty robust, muscular archive. And I don't know who it's for or what it's for. Can't imagine my daughters wanting to wear all of it, but just I think for anybody, it's, I think it's it's a picture of time spent with a lot of really talented designers.
What I wouldn't give for just a day walking through that archive and seeing some of the things you have. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I think it's probably pretty good.
Some of the most beautiful looks ever.
No, and that's why we try to take such good care of them. We have like probably, I would say, how much of Sex and the City? 80%. It's all like down to every detail.
We're gonna play Sip or Spill.
Okay, I'm
so
scared.
That's like.
I'm scared.
If you don't want to say, take a sip.
Okay.
If you want to, spill it.
Okay.
All right. First things first. What's the craziest thing you've ever done when you've had a little too much to drink?
I'm not being coy. I just don't have a crazy thing, and so that means I have to drink because I have nothing.
I'm gonna drink with you.
I guess I'm just not funny and anecdotal that way. Oh well, I gotta drink.
What would your kids say is mom's most annoying habit?
God, I have I'm sure a laundry list. I tell them they have to turn their laundry inside correct. Because I'm not going to do your laundry if I have to stand in the laundry room and have to spend all my time undoing your socks and knickers and
That's
jeans.
not annoying.
And,
that's a good thing.
and probably clipping nails. Like you have to clip nails, and we clip nails on Sundays in my house. Yeah.
I love it.
I'm sure I'm a really annoying parent.
What's the most...
Best interest. I've got their best interests at heart.
You are. What's the most amount of money that you've spent on a pair of shoes?
I would say back in the day, I wasn't so thoughtful about things like that. I would say I've spent rent. I've spent rent in the past. I was young and foolish.
I've spent rent. And do you know how many pairs of shoes? How many pairs of shoes do you?
I don't, but I don't shop the way I think people assume I shop, because there is a big distinction between Carrie Bradshaw and me. I try to get stuff at thrift shops when I can, and used clothing. I almost only buy used clothing. So, yeah.
Carrie's had so many on-screen kisses in Sex and the City. Which was your favorite?
No, you're mad. Like, why would I ever in a million years? Oh, right. Oh, you do that just so I could have a sip. I couldn't do that because I've worked with such great men and women. I've kissed women as well, haven't I? Didn't I?
Alanis Morissette. Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it would just be unfair to call one. I mean, they know who they are.
I got you. You know who you are.
You know who you are.
If you could bring back any one of your most famous characters for a reboot, who would it be?
Well, it's hard to ignore the public outcry for Hocus Pocus. I mean, it's really hard to ignore the deafening call for a reboot or a sequel.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think, to do some episodes of Sex and the City, I wouldn't call it a reboot. I would just call it a revisit.
But I would like to see where Carrie and Big are right now.
I'd like to see,
to
where
see
all
that.
of them are.
Yeah.
I'm curious. The world has changed so much. It's changed with technology and social media. I mean, they never, which is maybe a virtue too, because it would have complicated things even more. So that those characters never talked about social media, which I just think would be really interesting. And just also sexual politics and the Me Too movement and Time's Up has, been really steered conversations about sexual politics, and I think Carrie Bradshaw would be just so greedy to share her feelings and thoughts.
Oh, now you got my heart palpitating again.